What's up, y'all? I'm Omari Akil, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to play Rap Godz. In this game, you are an up-and-coming hip-hop artist trying to make it to the top of the charts. But you're going to have to make sure your swag, skills, streets, and career moves are enough to help you reach your goals in the rap game. Your objective is going to be to earn the most points by getting plaques. There are bronze, gold, and platinum plaques. Bronze is worth 1 point, gold is worth 5 points, and platinum is worth 25 points. Setup. Alright, so let's set up the game. After placing the board on the table, you're going to separate, shuffle, and place the 3 album decks and the 3 come-ups decks off to the side. The come-ups decks should be close to the come-up spaces on the right side of the board. Next, take the small yellow tokens, shuffle them, and place them randomly on the matching spaces on the record at the center of the board. The 3 symbols represent your rap resources: swag, skills, and streets. Each player will then get a set of colored player pieces. That includes 3 small cubes, 2 larger cubes, a Rap Godz player token, and a colored beef die. Next, shuffle and deal 2 rapper cards and 2 city cards to each player. Each player then chooses 1 rapper card and 1 city card to represent. Once all players have selected, now is a good idea to let everyone know who you are and where you're from. The city card, because it represents your hometown, gives you your starting position on the board for each of your rap resources. Now everyone can put their 3 small cubes on the board based on which city they chose. For example, if you pick New Orleans, you'll place your cube on the 2 swag space, 3 skill space, and 1 street space. Next, grab the token that matches the cities you picked and place those on the board marked with the city icon. If you're playing a 2-player game, randomly take 1 more city from the stack and place it here with the others. After cities, we place goals on the board. First, find the champ goals token and place it in the space that has the champ label on it. Then, depending on how many players you have, you will randomly select and place more tokens on the board. You'll have at least 3 and up to 5 total in a 4-player game. Next, draw and place cards from the come-ups 1 deck onto the board in the places marked come-ups. How many you place is also determined by the number of players. Same as the goals, there'll be at least 3 and up to 5 in a 4-player game. You're almost ready to start the game at this point, so deal 5 album 1 cards to each player. You should also check your rapper ability now, since some rappers like Smoke Space Filla play with a different number of cards in their hand. Lastly, you will use the crossfaders to keep track of where you are in the game. Put 1 each on the album 1 and track 1 positions. Now let's play some Rap Godz. For album 1, the first player is going to be the player with the most streets. You can roll the dice to break a tie, and whoever is starting takes the Rap Godz medallion and their turn can begin. Taking turns. Your turn is pretty simple. There's 2 parts. Get a card, then play a card. You have 2 choices when it's time to get a card. You can draw 1 from the current album deck, or if you're feeling fancy, you can buy a come-up, which will cost you 3 cards from your hand. You can only choose 1 of these actions on your turn and only 1. So, if you want to get a come-up, you have to make sure you have enough cards to spin before it's time to get a card. If anyone buys a come-up, replace it immediately with a new one from the top of the deck. Then, it's time to play a card. You can play any card in your hand as long as you meet the card requirement, which looks like a lock and key on that card. And lots of cards don't have requirements. If it does, then check the board and make sure you can play it. For example, in order to play Complex Rhyme Scheme, your colored cube needs to be at the 4 skills space or beyond. There are 2 types of cards you can play. Standard album and come-up cards are played in front of you in the order you play them and builds out your career timeline. If you're playing one of those, you can immediately collect the plaques and resources that are showing in the top left corner. Plaques you collect from the stack, and then you move your cube forward the number of spaces indicated for the icon that's on the card. For Complex Rhyme Scheme, that's 2 plaques and moving up 3 spaces on the skills track. The other kind of card you can play is a beef card. Beef cards are how you go after rival rappers. If you play a beef card, first choose another player that you want to have beef with, then roll the dice to see how the beef ends. If you played the card, Pick up the red die with your colored die and roll them together. Whichever is the highest out of these two dice will be the score to beat if your opponent wants to win the beef. Then your opponent rolls to see who will win. If there is a tie, both of you re-roll until someone wins. Loser of the beef has to take the card and put it in their career timeline and gives the winner the plaques and the resources that are showing as negative values on the top left of the card. For example, when the Lost Your Lucky Pin beef is over, the loser is going to give the winner 1 plaque and 2 skills. The winner also takes a red beef cube to keep track of who is in the lead for the champ goal. As you're playing, remember, you win the game by earning the most plaques, and there are lots of ways to do that in Rap Godz. Pickups won't get you plaques by themselves, but they can definitely help you. These yellow tokens on the board are picked up by the first player to land on or pass that space with your Rap Resource Cube. If you get one, you can use it now or on a future turn. This one lets you draw a card, and this one gets you 3 of a Rap resource. And both of these can be used at any time on your turn. This one will add 2 points to a beef roll and can be used at any time when you're involved in a beef. But there are direct ways to earn more plaques. Each rapper will have unique ways to play that will give you a boost. If you have a card category or color bonus, that will get you more plaques at the end of the game for having played certain cards into your career timeline. If you have a rapper goal, you will get plaques at the end of the game if you complete the goal written in that space on the card. All rappers also have a special ability. These abilities can usually be used strategically to help you move toward your objectives in the game. You can also earn plaques at the end of the game by collecting goals from the board. One example is Platinum, which you will pick up if you are the first player to reach 25 plaques. And of course, you will be competing over cities. Each city has a unique objective and will give you plaques at the end of the game if you complete it. For example, if Atlanta is in the game, then whoever has the most yellow cards at the end will pick it up and earn 10 plaques. Any ties for goals or cities means that the players will split the plaques, rounding down for odd numbers. So when you get to the end of your turn, the next player going clockwise is going to start their turn. After you've gone all the way around the table and get back to the player with the Rap Godz medallion, then you're going to change tracks. Move the crossfader to the next track and keep playing. When you finish track 5, you're going to change albums. When you move to the next album, the game amps up. If you have a rapper ability that you can use only once per album, that will refresh. Also, remove all the come-ups and draw new ones from the next come-ups deck. Then, each player gets to draw up to a 5-card hand from the new album deck. Certain abilities might get you more or less cards at this point. Finally, a new player gets the Rap Godz medallion and will start the album based on who has the most skills in album 2 and swag in album 3. The game ends when the last player finishes their turn at the end of track 5 of the 3rd album. At this point, you need to figure out who won the remaining goals in the cities, collect plaques for your rapper bonuses and rapper goals, then count up your plaques to see who has the most. If you had the most plaques, it's time for you to brag about how you made it to the top. Go ahead and read out your career timeline and let them know how you became the rap god. And don't be shy, you earned it. I hope you have a lot of fun playing. And again, I'm Omari Akil, and thanks for watching. This was How to Play Rap Godz.